No, we do it all with that. It's hot everywhere.
Oh, yes, it feels great to you.
Are ready?
Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Millwood City Council for August 9th, 2022 at 7 p.m. It is 7 p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. At this time, if we who are present could do a Pledge of Allegiance, I will lead us in the pledge tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we have one council member attending remotely this evening, and so I will begin a roll call of the council. Shauna Beesey.
Here.
Ms. Beesey is remote. Sean Culler. Here. Mr. Van Hees is excused tonight. He has a work commitment that he cannot break. Mr. Sander. Here. Mr. Stravens.
Present.
And then in the audience this evening, we have Mr. Erdahl representing Public Works and Lisa Castles acting as our assistant clerk this evening. We also have on the line our clerk, planner, code enforcement officer, Christina Jansen. So thank you all for attending. And we do have a quorum of those both present and remotely. So at this time, I would ask for a approval of tonight's agenda. Is there anyone who would like to take any items separately? Seeing or hearing none, is there approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there
Second the motion?
moved and seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tonight's agenda is approved. Thank you. So because of circumstances, we do not have a Spokane Valley Fire Department report. The Valley is preparing for a internment procession for a fallen firefighter. Just to make the council aware, they will be beginning their procession for Spokane Valley Fire District employees at the Millwood Fire Station, station number 2 for the Valley. That will likely begin sometime between 11 and 11:15. Following departure of the SVFD procession, individuals from other fire districts who wish to participate have been asked to stage in the West Valley High School parking lot. They will proceed down Euclid Avenue. Both processions will be heading north on Argonne. So we will have the procession north from Frederick and then the procession north from Euclid. So Public Works is aware of this. There will be traffic control from WSP. There will be also Scope, West Valley Scope will be assisting in traffic control, but we will have some traffic congestion during that time tomorrow from about 11 to likely close to 12. So we do not have an agency report tonight. So at this time, this brings us to item number 5, our public comments received. Have we at this time received any public comments?
No, we have not.
And I have not received anything.
So we have received no email or written comments, and let the record show that we have no individuals in the audience who might wish to participate, but we have not received public comments in accordance with the city's requirements. Do we have an executive session this evening, Mr. Wurst?
None to my knowledge at this point. It may change throughout the meeting, but no, not at this point.
Great, thank you very much. So that brings us to item number 7, our action items. Our first action item is the consent agenda consisting of the council's special meeting minutes for June 21st, the council minutes for the regular meeting for July, and then the July 2022 treasurer's reports, claims, and payroll. Is there any member of the council who would like to take any of those items individually? Not seeing or hearing one, do I have a motion on the consent agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the consent agenda is accepted unanimously tonight. Thank you very much. Sorry, making notes. So that brings us to item 7B, Resolution 2022-06, our local fiscal recovery funds. And this resolution, you want to do it? This resolution crystallizes or memorializes the council's intent to dedicate the remainder of our local fiscal recovery funds, our, for a better word,
So the resolution is before you tonight. It was not in the packet. I think staff tried to send it out, but just in case it's not in the packet that you printed, it is before you tonight.
But I left one on your desk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
my apologies. And now I'm completely thrown. Anyway, this memorializes the council's intent to accept the remainder of our fiscal recovery funds, our local fiscal recovery funds, the LFRF funds, to be designated for revenue loss as experienced by the city as opposed to other direct COVID-related expenses. If you have any questions, myself or Mr. Wurst would be happy to answer. Any questions from the council? At this time, do I have a motion on Resolution 2022-06 as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-06 as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion from the council? Seeing or hearing none, at this time, all in favor of Resolution 2022-06 as presented, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, Resolution 2022-06 is approved unanimously. Thank you. So that brings us to Resolution 2022-07, resolution supporting the Spokane Regional Flood Action Plan. Food. Oh my Lord, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said flood. It's probably these glasses. So, Shauna, would you like to say anything as the architect of this resolution? If you feel comfortable, we'd be interested in anything, hearing your thoughts and ideas on this resolution. Thank you.
Absolutely. So this Spokane Regional Food Action Plan comes at the heels of 3 years of collaborative effort amongst all community or Spokane County members. And so I believe that there is the actual document attached, but the highlights is that it provides for healthy food for all, farmland preservation, reduction of food waste, and this has already been supported officially by the city of Spokane. It's also being presented to other municipalities around our region, and basically this is just an acknowledgement that we support it. I met with Christina, and that we will be looking to, as different plans come up, like our water conservation plan, other plans, we will fold this in. The only activities that we're proposing outside, and this is not formally in the resolution, is that we will be looking in the fall to develop in collaboration with the the Spokane area at large, a food asset inventory of Millwood. And then in January, we will also be looking to reopen and look at the code that provides for different elements of suburban agriculture. And I'm happy to answer any specific questions.
Are there questions for Shauna from the council? Thank you for that, Shauna. We are excited as to what this might entail for us going forward. So if there are no questions from the council, I would look for a motion a motion to approve Resolution 2022-07 as presented.
I would like to make a resolution or a motion to accept Resolution 2022-07 as presented.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the Resolution 2022-07 is approved as presented. Thank you very much. And approved unanimously, by the way. So that brings us to item 7D, the city logo and rebranding. Ms. Jansen, do you want to take that one remotely?
Sure. Following the June meeting of the City Council and the discussion that was had at that meeting, the city issued a request for proposals for a graphic designer to work with the city to develop a new city logo and rebranding for our stationery, signage, etc. The deadline for proposals was July 22nd. In your packet this evening are 4 proposals that were submitted in response to the RFP. So at this time, what I would be asking is for direction from the council. We could go a couple of different ways that I'm aware of. One, the council could decide to just leave the project in the hands of staff to choose 1 or 2 of the proposals and ask for a more formal and detailed presentation. Another option would be to establish a committee, possibly myself, the mayor, and a council person, to go ahead and meet and decide which proposals to move forward with for a more detailed presentation. So at this time, I would just be asking for the council's direction on how they wish to proceed.
So I would ask Mr. Wurst if, currently where we are in this process is more in the RFQ stage, request for qualifications, and then selection of a consultant that then would prepare a detailed proposal for submission to the council. Christina and I have talked, as she said, there is a couple different ways we could go. We could allow council we could allow staff to weigh the proposals and then bring a recommendation forward. Or if there are any member of the council that would like to participate with staff, member or members of the council that would like to participate with staff on reviewing the proposals, we could go that way, develop a short list, and then come back with a recommendation to council for selection of a consultant. Does that jive pretty well?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think typically what happens is the staff will kind of vet out the proposed service providers on a qualifications-based one like this, determine who seems to be the most qualified and negotiate that scope of price, and then that comes back to the council for the council's approval. I have gone through some processes with clients that have done logo rebranding, reimaging. And just from a practical recommendation standpoint, I guess I would encourage the council to let it kind of work through the selection process at the staff level. You have the I think the intention is not just to have you authorize the expenditure, but you would have, say, input, review, thumbs up, thumbs down on what comes forward to the after that expenditure is incurred as well. And I have had an experience where the agency went through the full process. Staff brought forward a proposal, and the legislative body said, thank you, but no thank you, let's start again. Entirely appropriate, but just want to make sure that, you know, the intention is you will not be left out simply approving an expenditure. You'll be part of that review process, but it can be a pretty detailed development process before it gets to you for here are the options.
So Mr. Wurst raises a number of valid points, but I would say also too, in talking to Christina, I think she would welcome if somebody from the council would like to be part of the vetting process and have input as we go through, as these proposals are gone through. As we said, we had four affirmative responses to the city for our RFP, our request for proposals. And so if somebody does wish to participate, that's also acceptable as well. So any thoughts from the council? Or Christina, do you have anything in response to say to the comments that Brian and I have made?
No, nothing to add.
It's like the voice from above.
Well, I'd like to participate in the selection the vetting process, not necessarily in the decision making, but I'll come down and work with staff as part of that process. If anybody else wants to come down too.
Well, I think as I went through there, I came up with 3 of the possibilities myself. So I think there were very good responses, and some of them very detailed. So I'll refer to Sean to
Okay.
be our rep.
So I think at this time we don't particularly need do we need an action other than the fact that Mr. Culler and Ms. Jansen will work together to vet the candidates, and then at a future time we'll come forward with a presentation to council regarding a selected candidate and going forward from there. Is that acceptable, Christina?
Yes.
Excellent. So that takes care of item 7D. Thank you for the direction, council. So that brings us to our reports for this evening. No action is taken as part of these reports. So Public Works Department, Mr. Erdahl.
Okay, our water samples came back satisfactory this month. We've been working with the engineers to finalize the water line replacement on Frederick. The bid package was sent out to the contractors on July 29th, and bid opening will be August 16th. So this is going to require a special meeting on August 23rd in order to award the bid, so we have time to get it paved and taken care of. Spokane County has informed us there'll be some rate increases to the treatment charges, and that the pass-through GFC charge for new sewer connections will be increased. The Argonne project update, we're still waiting for an agreement with UP, and received an offer from IEP, received a counter offer from IEP and reviewing that now. We've been working with Welch Comer on TIB applications for a road project and a sidewalk project. So we're hoping to get funded for at least one of those projects for next year. We've been out trimming the vegetation from the stop signs and intersections that are causing site issues. The pool's been open and used quite a bit with all the heat. The lifeguards doing a good job. Everybody seems to be pleased with having it open after it was closed the last 2 years. And we've done a couple interviews for the maintenance worker 1 position, and Thursday we're gonna finish up interviews for that and hopefully get someone by the end of the month. And the DNR agreement for the grant has been finalized and able to begin the project. So we look forward to our meeting with the consultant to start the tree inventory and work on management plan.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions for Mr. Erdahl? Excellent. Thank you very much. So our treasurer is preparing for a medical procedure, and we'll leave it at that. So is not able to be here this evening. Basically, the biggest thing I can report is we are still waiting for comments from the auditor on our audit, and so as we work through that, we will keep the council apprised. And that's pretty much it on the treasurer's front. We are beginning the budgeting process. As Mr. Erdahl did state, there is just notification from Spokane County that they will be increasing the GFC charge. The letter or the transmittal from the county that provided this was a little vague. And so we are setting a meeting with the county to more fully understand exactly what is going on with respect to that. Also to make sure that the county understands that we don't take rate increases in the middle of the year. And they need to be much more diligent about coming up with this stuff and getting into this on our timing as a customer. So we will be working on that. Mr. Sander.
I only hope that they don't want their 10 years past due a rate increase all at one time.
I don't think this is, I don't think that that's going to happen. And I don't know. We're still trying to figure out what it is, but the arrears taxes also have a lot to do with that quote unquote utility tax and things like that. And so we need to, as our council has indicated, about once every 10 years, somebody from the county comes down and decides they want to talk to us, and then they return back to the county and we see them 10 years later. So that's kind of where we're at on this, but
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
we have some due diligence to do with the county.
The only thing I would add is that the interlocal agreement that we have with regards to GFCs, it is a pass-through. It's something that, the county sets. I think what we're trying to figure out is how it was set, what's comprised in that new dollar amount. And again, as the mayor pointed out, sending notice and saying it'll be imposed by the county within 30 days is not good government relationship. Probably an issue that will be reported on a continuing nature to the council. So.
Time to start paying in January.
So that is the treasurer. Christina, would you like to give the clerk planning code enforcement update?
Sure. From the clerk's office, we are continuing with the scanning project, the rescan of all of our address files. That is proceeding along. In the planning department, I will be issuing the public notice later this month for the 2022 comprehensive plan amendment process. That begins on September 1st through November 1st is the application period for comp plan amendments. The Planning Commission has been continuing their work on the park plan. They were in the farmers market for another public input session at the end of July. They will be in the farmers market again on the 24th of August. We are getting good participation from the folks in the farmers market. We're gathering a lot of good input, ideas, and feedback from the public, so that has been very successful. They will take the plan pretty much fleshed out from the feedback that we've gotten to Millwood Days on Saturday, August 27th. They will be in their booths at Millwood Days, which gives the opportunity for us to hear from a little bit different demographic than the shoppers at the farmers market. So that should be, we should get some good input there. And then following that meeting, they will take it back to their meeting and begin the process of coming up with a draft plan. One other event that we had was a movie in the park a couple of Fridays ago. That was hosted by Councilmember Van Hees. That was a success. We had more attendees at that one than I think we've ever had before. So that was exciting and a good time. And then lastly, from code enforcement, we have really had a run on code enforcement complaints recently. I have more open cases right now than I've ever had before. And so we are just in various stages of working with folks to try and get a number of different code violations into compliance. Other than that, I don't have anything unless there's any questions.
Questions for Christina? Not hearing any, not seeing any. So that concludes our staff reports. I'd like to give a quick mayor's report just on a few things. One is Mr. Erdahl referenced the Argonne project. We are busily working with Union Pacific Railroad to finalize the license agreement. That should be complete here, we hope, by the end of this week, actually. We have on Thursday with city representatives, Welch and Welch Comer, a meeting with Inland Empire Paper to actually take engineering plans into the field and walk the facility. IEP has some concerns regarding access, business continuity, issues like that. We've directed Welch to prepare responses to those, and we will be presenting those to IEP in the field so we can actually get a fair, they can have a fair idea of what we're looking at. Following that, IEP has committed to review those responses and determine how they wish to proceed forward. One other item that I would ask for that will likely be placed on the special agenda on the agenda of the special meeting is we received a request from Millwood Brewing for consideration of hosting a craft hop brewers festival in Millwood Park, reflecting in similar nature to the craft hop brewers festival that they have in Yakima. One of those things is that our code indicates that City Council needs to approve that. Is a time of the essence thing. It would probably be too late if we brought it up on the September meeting, but between now and the special meeting, we've asked that we work with Millwood Brewing to come back to council with a complete plan of what they're envisioning, how they would stage it, things like that. And then I would be looking to council if it meets requirements and looks like a good thing to approve that use for the park. It would be a very interesting and I think noteworthy event for the city of Millwood. So just to put that on your schedule, so it will be very necessary that we have. Do we need a full? Do we need a super majority, or can we do with a quorum?
It'd be a majority of a quorum. There isn't a super majority.
Okay, so we have nothing there. So we need to be assured that at the special meeting on the 23rd that there are at least 3 council members present to be able to conduct business at that meeting. So that would be what we have going on from the mayor's desk. Any questions for me? Thank you all. So that concludes our reports. Oh, legal report? Sorry, I didn't mean to pass you over, Mr. Wurst.
No, that's fine. I don't really have a whole lot to report that hasn't already been addressed by others, by city staff or anybody else. I will say, while I've not been a participant on occasion, I attend the planning commissions just because of legal needs that might arise. There's been no legal needs needed on my part on the park planning process. And I guess I just want to say I want to commend the city on pursuing that. It's one thing to say we want to get public involvement. It's another thing to actually go to the public and get that involvement. And while I do enjoy attending the meetings and working with the planning commission, I've greatly appreciated the opportunity for them to go out and do their work, do the fact finding, do the gathering, and commend staff, especially Christina, for taking that effort and going out and doing it. I think it's going to be a better process not having legal involved at the outset. So, and Christina would probably agree with that, wouldn't you, Christina?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew that we couldn't do it. We could not do it. Any questions for Mr. Wurst? No questions for Mr. Wurst. Thank you, Brian. So that brings us to item number 9, items for council information, no action or discussion. That consists of our sheriff's report for June. Public remarks. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the council on any subject except for action items on the meeting agenda. We have no individuals present in the audience tonight, and did we receive any public remarks?
We did not.
So we have no public remarks this evening, and I will not make, I could make the second and third call, but there's nobody to make it to. So council remarks, we will start with one of our voices in the sky. Ms. Beesey, any council remarks this evening?
Nope, thank you.
Mr. Culler?
Just say it's good to hear the Argonne project is moving forward.
We are attempting to do our best. Mr. Sander?
Well, our bus routes are going to be changing here soon. The bus 94 won't be coming a long way around town to come here and back out the long way back to town. We'll be having a route from Community College up along Upriver Drive through Argonne, and then it takes to Broadway, and then heads out to the valley. The bus that comes along Trent to Marabou will be turning at Vista to come down to Buckeye, coming through Buckeye back to Argonne, continuing out, because they're bus. They let people out on the other side of Trent, and there's not a crosswalk to be seen. And that also I think is a little bit of at least gets it back a little closer to some of the other population that use the bus. That route, and I think this is kind of ahead of schedule, but I think the intent here is it gets us back to the community college where the city line, which is that rapid, it's not rapid because it stops, but it's like every 10 to 15 minutes to downtown, and it'll be a lot quicker, I think, even going upriver to get to college and then get downtown. So I'm looking forward to it because it's a great way to get to the basketball games because it goes right by, right through the middle of Gonzaga. So I won't have to park. I don't mind parking. I just don't mind getting out of the parking.
Thank you for that update, Dan. Appreciate it.
I have a quick follow-up. How do you get the tickets to the game?
I joke.
Well, the ribbons, you know somebody.
The tickets.
Good luck.
Sorry.
Mr. Stravens, any comments this evening?
No comments.
Thank you very much. So that ends our council remarks. Announcements, we did make the announcement of the fallen fighter procession. If any folks would like to see that, as I said, that will be going on at noon tomorrow, or not noon. Beginning at 11:15 is when the departure is. We will be following up with announcements in the near future regarding Millwood Days, other items. We have some potential events for Halloween, things like that. So there are a few things going on in the offing. Ms. Jansen is working with individuals on that for that in the city. So with no other announcements, that brings us to setting our next meetings. Our next meeting will be a special meeting on August the 23rd, which is a Tuesday, correct? Correct. Tuesday at 6 p.m. And then our regular meeting will be Tuesday, September 13th at 7 p.m. Urge folks, if you do not believe you can make that special meeting, please let Christina know so we can keep a tally on that. Otherwise, at this time, I would look, if we have no other business, I would look for a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, and I will be disconnecting folks off of the conference line. Thank you very much.
Hold on.